And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is show number 2 of the day. Of course, tomorrow we'll have a couple of shows for you here on the Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com and, of course, our friends at HighTideCountry.net and presented by Bangtail Whiskey and our friends over at Honky Tonk, Texas. Well, I found out she was putting out a single called Steppin' in It. That's right, Steppin' in It. We had to step into her world and see what's going on here on the Backstage Pass. The fabulous Tori Martin joining us here on the show. Tori, what's been going on?
Howdy. I love it. That was an awesome intro.
Well, you gotta. Hey, that's not my first rodeo. I always tell people they say you gotta invent creative intros. That's part of broadcasting, part of being journalism.
That's
So it's
awesome.
so I love it. Well, tell us all about this. Friday or technically tonight at midnight, this thing comes out. Stepping in It, and Kirsty, we're just talking about some of your great friends and of course managers over there with your label and things like that. Bill DeLuigi, a writer on this song too. Tell us all about this. And Stepping in It has already got this vibe, and of course I get the copy in advance, so I get to listen to it, but you folks go download and stream it tonight across all those digital platforms. Tell us where this came from.
That's right. Man, we kind of have been going a different direction, like with my music, a little more Western and kind of neo country. And so really digging in that and into my Texas roots. So that's where we kind of got the idea for the song, and just thinking about like that true grit and that spirit that Texans have, and they don't take no bull. And so kind of like carrying that into this song, I was like, all right, there's so much noise in the world. There's so much going on. It's like, okay, the song is like, I'm not stepping in all this stuff, all this junk. Yeah. I'm going to stick true to myself, and you could throw it my way, but like, it ain't going to work. And so that's really what inspired the song and what we wrote it. We just had this vibe and we were going for it. And it's funny, I think it was on like Facebook Memories or something. I had shared a year ago, this was just a few days ago, I was in the studio actually recording it at Blackbird Studios in Nashville, which was like a dream come true. It was pretty legendary to record there. And it was Stepping in It. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, it's so cool. That's just within a year. A lot of times there's even more of a stretch. So I'm like, all right, she's finally coming out. I'm ready.
I love it too. And also Kirsty Manna, I was talking about Kirsty Manna and Bill DeLuigi, just two fantastic, just great songwriters and staff writers there too, as well, to work with too, definitely with Lucky Sky Music. Tell us about that and just how important it is to have, people like that really believe in you, believe in your career, and have people like that on your team.
It's pretty awesome. I'm really excited. I'm kind of like the flagship artist for the label, and Bill T's also my label mate as a songwriter, and then Kirsty's incredible. So it really is kind of like full circle and serendipitous. Like I ended up meeting Kirsty way back when I was like 18 and coming to town, and it's just wild. I remember meeting her and thinking, oh, I wish I could work with her. And it's just crazy how things end up happening. And we didn't even meet that day. And so it's just wild. I'm like, here we are, years later, and it's happening. And so we were talking about it off camera, you just got to keep forging your path and just keep going, because you just never know.
Yeah, and definitely you splitting that time between, from one Texas native here to another. I'm in Beaumont, you're in Fort Worth. Fort Worth, Texas, back and forth to Nashville. I mean, the travel does get exhausting, but that grind is so important, because they always know success doesn't happen overnight in this industry when it comes to music. And, getting into those type of studios, running into those type of people, and just knowing this is the kind of career you signed up for. So I'm sure you get travel fatigue from time to time, but it's always cool to kind of go back and forth between the Texas roots and, of course, Music City.
It's true. I love it. Actually, yesterday, I'm like, was it yesterday? I'm like, where am I? Who am I? And what am I doing with my life? But yesterday I was actually doing some filming for the music video for Steppin' in It. So it has been quite hot out here in Texas. There's like a heat wave. I'm like, man, it's even hotter than like I remember. And I think it was just like the first day of summer yesterday. So I'm like, oh dear God, Heavenly Father, help us, because this is rough. But it was dirty and gritty, and it was out on our ranch. We have some land out in Grayford area. And so Lots of stepping in it. It was
We,
fun.
yeah, no doubt about it too. And the triple digits, or the heat index is so high too, and it's just been a sauna down here in Texas
Oh,
too. And like you said, the first day of summer just kind of being there too. I want to go back to this one too because you guys had a lot of fun with this, and kind of go to a different single. We'll get to a few more singles here as we go
okay.
throughout the show today too with Tori Martin. The Kmart closed in our hometown. This is a lot of fun too. Everybody remembers the store itself too. Where did the idea for this come from, and how much fun? Because this just seemed like you had a lot of fun with this tune.
Oh yeah, this was the first release of like the new body of work that
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be bringing out, and so we released it at the top of the year. But it's actually based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
It's from my hometown. So I grew up in a small town. It's called Azle, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't even know where it's at. But I was talking with Kirsty. We were in a meeting, and she said something about like maybe Kmart could be a sponsor or whatever. I'm like, Kirsty, Kmart's closed in my hometown. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
they're not out there. And so that we were like, write it down. Oh my gosh, we have a song. And so we got in the room and we're like, it just poured out. And so
Mm-hmm.
we had a blast writing this song and just all the nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so much fun. It's definitely a crowd favorite. People love that song.
It's one of my favorites too. When you look back at half the year being gone, even next week, June is out of here. 6 months left in the year. It's hard to believe. Tell me about some of the more accomplishments, kind of the new Tori Martin you mentioned there too. What can we expect moving forward, and some of those goals as you kind of get through the rest of this year?
Yeah, I have a lot of new music I'm sitting on and songs that I am so excited about. And truly I just feel like I'm in that space and it's all coming together and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, cross my fingers in my heart, but just so proud of this work and proud of these songs. I cannot wait to share it with the world. So I'm like, it's just getting out that new music and blowing it up and all that
Mm-hmm.
fun stuff and playing out and just continuing to tour and do all the things. So that's what I'm doing.
And we look back to it. Of course, I know the holidays will be here before we know it too, and that's always a time for a family to get together, and of course, travel and things like that too. Any plans for any more? I know you did deck the halls, and you come out with Jolly Old Saint Nicholas, Hey Santa, some Christmas singles, things like that. You love the holidays. Kind of remind people a little bit about just the flavor of country music from Tori Martin, or Christmas music, I should say. But it's that pretty cool thing too, because it's always cool to put your kind of dip your toe in that side of the water and say, I want to do some more Christmas albums or Christmas tunes.
Yeah, it's funny because a few months back we were in a write, and you just never know with the Christmas stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were just writing songs, and we got a Christmas song and wrote it like that. So there might be another Christmas song coming out before the end of the year. So we'll see, y'all. But those are so much fun. I have a blast. I just feel like Christmas music, like the sky is the limit. You can
Mm-hmm.
write so much and have such a good time writing those songs, and it's just such a good season and
Mm-hmm.
it's joyous, and I love having like a country twist on it, so it's a lot of fun.
It's they are too. I love when artists do that too and contact me at Christmas time. Hey, Brandon, can we get on there? Can we do this? Can we put this on? And I'm like, it's always great to see some of your favorite artists put out not just their music, but of course other different Christmas tunes out there too as well. That either, like I said, they put their own spin on a Christmas classic, or they come up with one with a very original title too. We got more ground to cover here with Tori here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com, and of course HighTideCountry.net tomorrow morning. Great show. We'll catch up with him. Dean Sams of the group Lone Star coming here on the Backstage Pass. Looking forward to that too as well. We'll talk about their new album 10-1. And of course, right now we're going to pay some of those bills here on the show. Come a word from Bangtail Whiskey, more with Tori Martin. It is the Backstage Pass, HighTideCountry.net, and of course at the Sports Guys Podcast.com. Back in the flesh. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And of course, back here with Tori Martin, it is the Backstage Pass, again powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com and hightidecountry.net internet radio out of Oklahoma. Check us out there 3 times a day, 4 times a week. Back here, of course, and talking all things music. And of course, tomorrow, good friend Hallie Kearns coming by here on the show, 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Another great artist who just played CMA Fest. I was going to ask you about that too, with just having the 50th anniversary of CMA Fest. I don't know if I just passed over it or maybe didn't see it. I was scrolling through some social media things. Were you a part of CMA Fest this year? Did you get to partake in that?
I didn't get to perform this year, but I was out and about doing some media and things like that, and just going out and having fun. CMA Fest is crazy,
Yeah.
Such a blast. Love all the fans. So it was a really good time, and it was actually kind of mild. Were you there?
I did not get a chance to go. Kirsty went out there and got some of the video. Kirsty Krause, my co-host here, she went out and got some other video of people performing and stuff like that too. Got to go to some of the little functions. No, it was last there with CRS because we had a good time with that. Our second one in a row that we've done there too at the Omni. So we'll try to get there. I keep saying each year that goes by, I want to get closer to a CMA Fest. So maybe 2024 will be my year. Let's
be both.
We'll try. If you're there, I'm there. We get together and we get to hang out. So it's always a good thing, no doubt. Let's go back to the album that you guys had put out. Some great songs on there, 8 songs, which September 2020. That's how good we do our homework here on the show. The Lucky album, too, as well, and some great songs off of there, too. Hit on some highlights, man, because this thing really did some great things for you guys on the charts, different things as an independent artist, and this was just another fantastic project you got to put out.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my first project to put out with Lucky Sky Music, and it's wild. It was during COVID, which was a crazy time for everybody in the world, especially the music industry too. So I put out What Would Dolly Do right before all that happened. And that song did really well. Music Row, Texas Radio, they really loved that song. And I think a lot of people, it just spoke to them during that time because it's like, stemming that energy from Dolly, like, what would she do during this time? And I'm going to be okay. So I love that song so much. I wrote that with my friend John Cirillo, who's now in heaven, and Sarah Spencer. So it's a special song to me. I love Dolly Parton. So always proud to sing that song. And then we released Fun. That was another single off of there. And truly we were just wanted to have fun with that song. And it was during a weird time where we were all stuck in our house and couldn't do a lot of things that were fun. So wanted to bring just a little bit of joy with that. And then Lucky was the last one we released as a single, and Lucky did very well. It went to country radio and went to the Billboard indicator charts and got to number 43. And that was really exciting.
Well, it's great to get music, great tunes you put your vocals onto. And when you do that, it's just great music that people kind of, they flock to it and definitely love it as much as I do. Let's break down a little bit one off of their Lonely Boy, which is off that Lucky album too as well. I'm interested in the writing behind that one too at the same time and just kind of the backstory of this one.
Yeah, Lonely Boy, I wrote that with my friend who's kind of like a pop artist. Her name's Sydney St. George. And we wrote that kind of when I first moved to town, and I was close to like 2017. And so I'm in a happy relationship. She was in a happy relationship, but we had all our girlfriends just telling us all the things. And we're like, oh my goodness. And just all that inspiration. And so we wrote this song. And I'm like, ooh, we got an idea. And so Lonely Boy, I remember playing that one out a bunch just in writers rounds, and all of my friends being like, oh, I love that song. Like, you've got to release it, Tori. And so it was really fun to kind of give it some of that soulful vibe. And, it's in 6/8. Like, it's a cool, I don't know, just a cool vibe. I like that song a lot. And I used to do it at my show. We've kind of moved some things around, but it's always a good one to throw back in.
Speaking of those live shows, good to see people out and about, busy. And of course, definitely, one of those things to see the live shows kind of healthy again too. How cool is that to see the crowds back out, just loving it, getting off, letting off steam, buying tickets, going out there, drinking, having a good time, meeting up with friends and family, coworkers. How cool is it to see an audience out there again, just for the kind of the full time?
I love it. It's great. And, it's something that, not that we took for granted, but when we didn't have the opportunity to do that, like, you just forget having that interaction and how magical and what an experience it is to be together, be in person, be live and loud. So every time, you take the stage, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Like, I get to do this. I'm living the dream. This is part of what I wanted to do. And truly, there's nothing like doing it live and loud.
That's it, live and loud, and like I said, and like I said, up close and personal. I love the one that you guys did back in April. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about this one too, because it had a really good feel to it too. Really good tune, and definitely had that country vibe, country feel too. Brought me back to a little bit of '90s country with this one. Magic Wand. Let's talk about that one.
Okay. Magic Wand. Very special song. I honestly didn't think I would ever get to release this
Hmm.
song. I wrote it in during the pandemic, and just with all the craziness in the world, and just obviously we all know so much was going on. And so I'm like, I don't really know what to do with all of these thoughts and all these feelings. So I'm like, I just have to put it to music. And so
Hmm.
I had this idea. I had that sitting in the notes of my phone. I'm like, man, if I could wave a magic wand, I would do all these things if I could.
Hmm.
And so wrote this song, and we ended up releasing it after the tragedy that took place at the Covenant School in Nashville, and so many in our nation that happened. But just during that time, we really wanted to share some, just some healing and some hope through music.
Hmm.
So that's what made us release the song, and it really did share that. And so it was amazing to get the response for people just during that kind of a dark time, just
Hmm.
bring a little bit of light. So it was incredible to be a small part of that.
I love it too, and thank you for sharing it with the world too. The album cover, or single cover, I should say, really speaks for itself with the candles there too, and definitely just a very feel good song that needed to be shared with a lot of people out there who've gone through a lot. And of course, after the Covenant, the tragedy went down in Nashville with that too. Just a great song too. And I think we all would actually do something, do things over again if we had that old Harry Potter. We'll use that example, magic
That's
wand,
right.
whatever, to go through that and change things in our lives too, and go back and have some do overs. Which would be, like I said, on all of our minds out there too as well. We'll take our final time out. More with Tori Martin coming up here. Final segment. We're still going to do rapid fire, kind of figure out what's been going on in our world, kind of on the personal side of things. Last show to binge watch, such things as that, and of course, hobbies away from music. More with Tori Martin. It is the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com, and of course, our friends at HighTideCountry.net. Tomorrow, Dean Sams of Lone Star coming on the program, and of course, our good friend Hallie Kearns. Back in a flash. Hang tight. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish. And back here with Tori Martin on the Backstage Pass. Of course, tomorrow, Dean Sams of Lone Star. It's going to be a pretty cool one to catch up with. 90s country, great band. Lone Star coming up here. They'll talk about their new album, 10 to 1. Out there across all the digital platforms. And, of course, our good friend Hallie Kearns at 2:30 tomorrow. A couple of shows wrap up the week. And then a little bit of time off there. Tori, it's always good to kind of step away from and just step back and kind of say, you know what, I just got to take a little bit of a break. Just that's a good thing. So
Amen.
we've been kind of blowing and going. You know how that goes when it comes down to it, as far as that goes, summertime. And it is summertime, so I got to get out to beaches, and I still have all these summer anthems I want to play and do things like that, which is real cool too. I want to ask you too, as you go out there and play all these great shows and look up there, you mentioned about knowing what you signed up for, knowing the confidence that you have to be one of the top, at least in my mind, one of the top up and coming emerging female artists today in the category out there. When you see this movement now, Lainey Wilson and Lindsay L. and Stephanie Quayle and Ashley McBride, Carly Pierce, and all these great ladies doing their thing. And then you see some cool things like Jody Messina kind of making that comeback and elevating herself again with the help, is out there with Cole Swindell and her playing CMA Fest. What is it about this women movement of country that's it's lifting itself up again?
I love it. It's empowering. And I love women in country music. There's no one more inspirational to me than some of the amazing, great women that have been a part of country music, are a part of country music. So the more light that we shed on women, I'm like, I am here for it. I'm like, that's who I'm jamming out to. No offense to the guys. I'm always jamming with the guys too, but I love it. I'm like, we need more women in country music. And I did you watch the Tammy and George special?
I did see that. Yes, I did. Fantastic. Yes.
I loved that so much, but I'm like, man, Tammy, I just had hearts in my eyes for Tammy Wynette,
Yep.
the first lady of country music. I'm like, wow. And there are just so many things that could have been stacked against her, but I'm like, look at her, one of the biggest stars. And like, I'm so inspired by women in country music. So I'm like, I'm here for it.
And it's such a great empowering movement, like you said, too, to see all these great ladies do their thing. And Lainey, I mean, like I said, again, had her on the show there a couple of years ago before it blew up and all these great awards and doing her thing out there. And it's just great to see for the industry out there, too, as well. I just cannot wait to see what's next from Tori Martin when it comes to all this great music and putting things out there, too. I'm kind of like everybody else, just fingers crossed. Stepping In It comes out tonight at midnight. Download and stream that everywhere across all the digital platforms. Let me have a little fun before I let you go, too, as well. Last show to binge watch. What'd you get into?
Ooh, I've been watching Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Love me some Ted Lasso.
That's good stuff. All right, home cooked meal. What do you like to cook?
Ooh, I eat a lot of chicken, and I obviously eat a lot of steak. So, Texan.
Texan out there. I love that, too. All right, so I got to go out and get my big Powerball deal out there, too, because they're both up there. Mega Millions Powerball, one of the big tickets or whatever. So let's say Tori wins one of these huge amounts. What's one of the first things she would do with the cash when she gets the first installment?
First and foremost, I would either like tithe on it or donate some to charity because I'm like, give and it will come back to you. I'm like, I'm giving away some money. So that's for sure.
I love that. All right. First song you ever sang live on stage?
Ooh, whoa. Honestly, you took me way back. Amazing Grace. Had to have been Amazing Grace in church. So I'm like, what was it?
You never know what's going to come in rapid fire. We've had some of these, like I said, daily basis too. All right, let me ask you this. A musician, a singer, if you weren't doing that, what other career path would Tori have chosen?
Probably like interior decorating and design because it's something I kind of do alongside music too. But I think I would be kind of in that realm. I still have like a pretty artistic eye, and I just love anything creative. I'm like, I want to be a part of it.
I love that. And that answered the next one too as well. We talk about rapid fire hobbies away from music. Any others beside interior design when you're not doing music?
I've really been like getting into fitness, so just loving like working out, lifting weights, Pilates, like so anything kind of fitness wise.
She's stepping in it, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Too. Getting into that working out too as well. It's coming out. I try to these little puns. If some people don't like them, then hey, like I said, it's just part of being a journalist too as well. Hey, we covered a lot of ground too, no doubt. I love it. Magic Wand is out there across all the digital platforms. What Would Dolly Do? The album Lucky, all the music we talked about today, and Stepping in It, which is coming out tonight at midnight. Guys, go get the song. I've heard it in advance. It's fantastic, and you'll love it too. Be sure and add it to your playlist tonight at midnight. And, of course, if you wake up Friday morning, it's out there too. Pre-order now. And, hey, best of luck with the live shows. Continued success going forward, and looking forward to catching up with you again here on the show and doing this all over again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate you.
You got it. TheToriMartin.com, and Stepping in It is the single coming out tonight at midnight. Make sure you guys go download that. Tomorrow for June 23rd, new music release day tomorrow. We'll have some comments on some of the best songs out there across all the digital platforms. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Have a great night. Tomorrow morning, Dean Sams, Lone Star. We'll talk about all those great songs that were back in the 90s too and talk about their new album, 10-1. And, of course, Hallie Kearns coming on the program coming up tomorrow here at the sportsguyspodcast.com and also hightidecountry.net. Go subscribe to Tori out there on socials alongside us as well. We'll see you soon. Have a great night.
See ya.